You join me here in the Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. This thing is massive because it's basically massive. And it's got this bright blue color called Wave Runner, I think. Man, this thing's big. What I want to start off with here is, it sounds like they've improved the exhaust and the intake on this model year. I can't really nail it down, but I hear a better exhaust note. I hear the wastegate on the turbos, because there's two turbos. And this is a hybrid, and as you can see, oh yeah, 15 miles per gallon. Burn, baby, burn. I'm surprised, because this has a V6, and what Toyota managed to do is get you the output and the consumption of a V8 in a hybrid, which is awesome. So we'll start here. I know that I'm not a fan of this navigation system because it's pay to play. It's subscription. It's about $12 a month, but you get it regardless. So if you don't pay for it, you still have the big screen, and that's kind of their thing. I don't like that they don't have a home screen or like something to display information. You just basically have to go through all of these prompts on the side here to get to everything. It can't just display. There's just, I don't know, maybe that's why I dislike this, even though the size of the screen is great. The rest of this, however, is massive. I would rather have this over the Lexus GX550 Overtrail Plus, because that's $88,000, and guess what this is? This is $88,000, can't you tell? Although this has that stupid trunk in the back with that little shelf and everything. I'll show you later. Well, right now I just want to talk about how this turbo, man, listen to that turbo. I can even hear it with the windows down. Now, that would be hilarious if it was piped in sound, but that would make sense too. Instead of having people to overboost and do all this other stuff, is you would just flick a switch on your little stupid display and be like, yeah, give me more turbo sound. Because turbo. That was a big thing in the 80s, especially with the Saab. There was even turbo sunglasses, and then everything transitioned from turbo to 2000. Everything 2000. But yeah, here we are. I'd rather have this Sequoia than definitely than a Lexus TX or the Grand Highlander. But the Grand Highlander is cheaper, but the Lexus TX is also $88,000. There's something about $88,000. It's some kind of Toyota mathematical formula for, I don't know, it's their version of 666, I think. Because Toyota is really just a bank these days. Look at the steering wheel, by the way. That is the weirdest looking leather I've ever seen. It's like it came off of an elephant's toe. And then I look at the quality of the stitch work. I look at there's not even perforation on the leather. It's just a stamp or something. This leather looks very, I don't know, it's like they switched suppliers and this is their first year. It doesn't look very tactile. So this car only has 1,600 miles on it, and I'm struggling to find out why this is a design choice that they went with or whatever. This is the steering wheel. This passed quality control, basically, because I don't think that's going to age well.
2 miles, use right 2 lanes to take exit on the right toward US 75 North.
I'm going to catch up with you
US 75
when I get out into the rural lands of Texas, and we'll see what else this thing is capable of. Since it's the TRD Pro, it's going to be more high-speed off-road capable. So I'm going to find a public unpaved road, which is nearly impossible in Texas. But we're going to go do what we can do. Right now we are heading towards Allen, Texas. We're leaving Frisco, Plano. It's all the same, really. Look at that. Let's get me out of here. Let's go. By the way, Toyota, thanks for paying the tolls today. I know you really can't avoid it. Toyota HQ for North America is actually off of this highway, so I'm sure they're used to the toll bill. Hopefully they got a deal with the toll company is based in Spain. We're heading north towards the Oklahoma state line, although practically some people would joke that this already is Oklahoma. I would beg to differ. It's much cleaner here, and we have better overpasses and highways. And because of fuel prices the way they are, this is March 30th. Finally, we're having adequate amount of traffic.
In half of a mile, use left 2 lanes to keep left toward US 75 north.
Not an impossible amount of traffic. So as we head into the 75 north here, I do want to notice there is some tire noise because they're off-road tires, and there's exhaust noise because of the TRD exhaust. But
keep left toward US 75 north.
This is not a capstone. It's not this luxury version. This is the one I would have, actually, because it's made to be a thrasher.
About 24 miles
and
US 75 north.
It rides much more comfortably than the GX 550 Overtrail. It sounds like it's an actual V6 without a droning exhaust, unlike the Lexus. And it actually, you know, it's funny because like the Lexus is smaller and much lighter than this. This is like 6,100 pounds plus, and this is appropriate. It's Texas size. It's family sized. It's you know, it's all the same. I think at some point you're gonna look at the numbers and be like, oh well, what's the difference on the fuel economy and the price? There is no difference. I would rather take up as much real estate on the road as I can because there's no road tax unless you're buying fuel, right? But if you can take up as much space as possible, just get the biggest thing. Just get the biggest thing, even if it's the same kind of money. I think, and this is American values here, the bigger the better, and the more for less, the better. That's why people, when they look at homes, they look at, it's weirdly, especially in places like Atlanta or Charlotte, they look at price per square foot, and they'll compare a 1-story home to a 3-story walkout basement home and be like, well, the 3-story home's cheaper. Even though it's $100,000 more, they go, it's cheaper because it's $150 a square foot, not $200 a square foot. And so we don't even have that math going on here. It's $88,000 for the Lexus, it's $88,000 for this, it's $88,000 for the TX or the GX. $88,000 is just that number, which I think your car payment's going to be like $1,400 a month. So then you lease it, and then you're like, oh, it's only $890 a month or whatever. I'm just throwing numbers out there. And I'm also killing some time here on my little drive. I have another 30 miles. Not bad today for a Monday. But we'll get to an off-road road, unpaved road, off-road, ROAD, and then I'll resume, maybe try and get this thing a little dirty because it's dropped off today. They're going to clean it up. Normally I do videos at the last day because I get my full impressions, like the first day to the 3rd day to the 5th day to the 7th day. All the time I start figuring more things out, or hey, okay, this is extreme from the previous car I just drove. I have to kind of settle in and then figure it out. And you know, I've obviously driven Sequoias before. The last time I had a TRD Pro was in Colorado Springs a couple years ago, and that was at a higher altitude, and that one was very orange. This one's very blue. So the experience though is the same. Like, this thing is just massive. It's still drivable. Like, the steering is light. I prefer the laser guided steering that you get from electro steering, which this has. And then we have our gadgets and gazmos and whatnots and things aplenty. But because we have the TRD Pro, we have the suspension that's made for high-speed off-road. So this thing just goes, phew, it's like, just cuts through everything. There's no, like, air lifting suspension or anything like that. Although I do love air suspensions, don't get me wrong. This doesn't have adaptive dampers like it does on the Lexus GX without the Overtrail Plus. So, you know, you do have a lot of options in the Toyota brand, Lexus brand, whatever, that Halo, where you're just like, okay, I would suggest drive them all, because once you get behind the wheel of this thing and you're on a highway in Texas like this and you're just doing 70 miles an hour and nothing can phase you, I think that's where you're like, yep, I think I don't want more buttons, I just want more better. Oh, there it is, Buc-ee's. I have to go to Buc-ee's, I forgot. I owe somebody something from Buc-ee's. Somebody in Reno I think I'm gonna have to get them a pair of beaver boxer shorts or something, or maybe obviously the obligatory beaver nuggets. I gotta get back over there, and then I keep forgetting. I don't forget because I remember, but when I get in there, I'm just so distracted by everything, and I'm like, what am I here for? I gotta go. And yeah, that's Buc-ee's. We also have a very large amount of brand new apartments everywhere, and that's concerning. I think a lot of stuff that they were planning never worked out. Thousands of apartments, which is deceptive for your narrative of a housing shortage. There's no housing shortage when you have a million empty apartments and all that whatnot. So it doesn't make any sense why they have that many apartments out here. There's nothing out here except apartments. Strange. Anyway, continuing on. As we're cruising along here, I realized, hey, like all these fuel stations, truck stops, whatnot. I'm looking at the range, and it's like 235 miles, and I've already used a quarter tank-ish to go, 70 miles. And I'm thinking, not even 70, actually. But if we have 234 to go, let's just say we keep a reserve, and then we refuel. And if I do 100 miles today, and then I refuel, I don't even know how big this tank is. I guarantee you, if I refuel, that this will cost me as much as recharging a Polestar 4 or any EV, actually, because it's all the same cost. This would cost me about $30 a day in fuel to go 100, 150 miles. I think that's what we're coming up at, which is because 15.2 mpgs, that's 10 gallons, and 10 gallons is $35, right? So this thing, okay, costs as much, or an EV costs as much as a gigantic Toyota Sequoia with 440 horsepower or something like that and 500 pound-feet of torque. That is an eye-opener, because it shows that, the EV thing aside, it's like just the cost lately is 150 miles is going to cost you about $30 a day. And that's insane, because that is a part of a scheme here to punish everybody, basically, and to limit your ability to travel. And just look at the current stuff with TSA going on. It's just like, the more they can make it unattractive, the less people will do it. And that's how it feels right now, at least. I don't know if that's the conspiracy theory. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm usually just right. So here we go. Heading down the highway, pretty much blowing money out the door. Thanks, Toyota, for the full tank of gas. All right, now we're talking. This is not an unpaved road, but man, this road is gnarly. All right, we're gonna do about 35. Actually, you can crank it up to probably around 50 on unpaved roads for high speed off road. But yeah, this is Blythe Road. Yeah, that sounds good. Just wow. I'm gonna have to live out here just to do that. No, but in all seriousness, like, you drive one of these things on roads like this and you realize how much you need one of these. When you drive the GX without the Overtrail, which doesn't have a TRD Pro suspension, by the way. I don't know what it has, but it's not as good as this. If you were to drive just the normal GX with the adaptive suspension, you'd have to, go through the menu and all that. But here in the TRD Pro, you just drive. And I think that's alluring to me, because there's nothing to worry about. You just, go within the parameters of basically the seat of your pants. And you can't, if you got to reach for something to hold on, I think that's just about the point you should be at. We actually have to go straight here. But as you can tell, like, we are now in the realm of stuff just got real. This train track doesn't even have a crossing guard, so hold on a second. Would love to fly over it, but this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to actually be careful. I think this railroad actually goes all the way down to downtown Dallas, or at least it used to. That might be what was the Katy Trail. Can't tell. Okay, I gotta try and pay attention and do all this at the same time. It's really a nice day out. It's 82 degrees out. I'm gonna roll the windows down. That way you can hear the turbo and all the wind noise on the camera. Sorry about that. Look at that. Classic Texas cottage right there.
Turn left at the end of the road onto Old Texas 6.
Old Highway 6. Look at this. In the middle of nowhere, and there's always a car. Contractor. Man.
Proceed about 0.7 miles to Nob Hill Road.
Something like this, though, it's very tempting to just go off-road. I mean, obviously, that's not my property, and there's a lot of it. All right. So, when we get to the rock road, there's a road of rocks. I think it's called Nob Hill Road, actually. I've been here before. And then all of a sudden we have a cluster of houses in the middle of nowhere. But see, you can tell I'm not phased, and there's no real shake, rattle, and roll going on in here. They would call it noise, vibration, and harshness, NVH, down to a minimum. It's this suspension and these tires, and you can see that van up there. When it was going over the rough road, it was just kind of listing. Alright, we're in a neighborhood. Not really a neighborhood, but...
1 mile, turn right onto Nob Hill Road.
Haven't really hit anything yet.
Next right onto Nob Hill Road.
Haven't really hit anything yet that was like bone shattering.
Proceed about 3 miles to Red Road.
But you know, in these cases where like maybe you just have to, for ingress egress, kind of move over to the right. You know, the suspension will tackle all of this stuff here. So maybe that. A concrete surprise over there. But, you know, we're on these massive BPS rims, forged, I think they are, and, you know, we can basically know with confidence that we're getting through the countryside. I'll put you out there. It's just such a nice day out. This is incredible. I love my job. Thank you all for liking and subscribing. I appreciate all 20 viewers of this video. You know, I make about 5 cents, which is amazing. Not your fault, of course. I may start doing subscription just for my views, just because, you know, I think YouTube is trying to demonetize as many people as possible and go to the subscription side, and then they take like 50 or 45% of that too. You know, it's like, wait a minute. You have an ecosystem where you host, you do the hosting, you do everything, and then you split the revenue because your job is to also get the revenue and do the hosting. Okay, well, I'll create content, and I create content, and then they go, oh, we don't like your content, or oh, you know, you don't have much engagement, and then everyone has to whore themselves out. And I've seen it from mommy bloggers to influencers. Well, that's the same thing, really, to Instagram models or whatever, and then cyber beggars. They're all the same, and I refuse to beg. I refuse. I'm way above that. So thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching, thank you for sharing, thank you for watching this video over and over and over, and all my other videos too. I'm still just trying to find this gravel road. I've been there before. Look at that. That looks like fun. It's just like, I wouldn't mind owning some land here and then throwing a tiny home on it. I don't care. Man, that's Dead Man's Curve right there. Listen to that turbo. Cut in here a little bit. I grew up in the Santa Monica Mountains, so I love cornering, but you know, we were really, really punished hard. It was a $1,000 fine back in the 90s if you crossed the double yellow line. Wow. It's so refreshing to just get away from people. No, to get out of town and just be with nature. I guess that's the same thing, getting away from people. But it's like green grass, fresh air, blue sky. Oh, we go straight. Pitchfork Road. Wow, okay. Pitchfork Road. Hey, look at this. Oh, my dog would love to be here right now. God. You guys are in the perfect spot. Hello, ladies. I don't know why people have to moo at cows. And the calves. They look delicious. Wow. A little tiny home right up here on the top of this hill would be awesome. And I don't know what that water tower is for over there, but there's definitely a bunch of homes around here somewhere because of that. Oh, yeah. It's almost like I grew up out in the country area of the Santa Monica Mountains, and it's like you see like the intro to the Andy Griffith Show where they're the Opie is going off to like some trail, and then with his fishing pole, it's like that's kind of the same thing here.
Turn left at the end of the road onto Red Road.
You kind of feel like you're
Turn left at the end of the road onto Red Road.
kind of. I feel like I'm taken back with this road. Like, what the hell just happened to this road?
Proceed about half of a mile to Pond Road.
When the road just kind of crumbles, no, they split it. They like put it into a Y for some reason. Reminds me of my girlfriend. All right. Let's see. I think we're going to follow those directions there. I don't know where I think it's coming up. If that's the case, I think we make this right. And then we're going to have a rocky road. So I'm going to put the windows up because I don't want dust in here. Wow, that's expensive.
In 0.1 mile, turn right onto Pond Road.
Some water in the creek. Sorry for the camera
Next
movement.
right onto Pond Road.
So much going on here. Well, I missed my road, but that's all right. It's a new house here.
1 mile to Kent Road.
Wow, there's some stuff hidden behind these trees. It's cool. Wow. I guess these are like family compounds. Wow. This is why you never sell. You just never sell. You find something and you be as content as possible and you never sell. Now it's different if you have a condo with HOA dues and all that. I would say get out. But if you have land, never sell. And you know, $88,000 for this or a quarter acre of land. I don't know. We're double wide on a palatial on a pastoral parcel. Honeybees farm. I wonder if they have honey. Alright, heading 0.2 miles, we're gonna make a right. Sorry for keeping you on this video, but thanks for watching.
In 0.1 mile, turn right onto Kent Road. Next right onto Kent Road.
There we go. I still see paved road.
Proceed about 1/4 of a mile to Pond Road.
trees. It's like so shaded here. It feels so nice and cool. There's just that cool breeze coming through. And then that warm sun.
Right onto Pond Road.
This is great.
Next right onto Pond Road.
Pond Road. Here we go, yeah.
Proceed about 0.6 miles to your destination.
So let's see, we've got drive mode, MTS, tow haul, blah, 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 crawl. If I change the mode, it doesn't change it based on anything. Let's put it in sport. It doesn't change the mode based on terrain, is what I'm saying. Unless I change it into multi-terrain select, transfer in 2 high, MTS unavailable. Okay, so I have to go to 4 high, so we'll push that down. We'll go into 4 high. I noticed the RPM's changed. MTS. And then we choose... I think we're just going to choose... Let's keep it in auto. Let's see what happens. "45-mile-an-hour speed limit on this dirt road." Good luck, buddy. 45. It's a little bit washboardy, but I don't feel a thing. Would not want to take an inside corner to an outside tree at 45 on dirt. And you can hear the rocks getting kicked up. And all the dust. So I'm going to roll the windows up because I'm going to slow down and it's going to catch up to me. So auto mode does quite well. Alright, give me a second. Checking out a property here. I was talking about living out here. We might just do that. I'll catch up with you in a minute. Yeah, boy. Alright, we're in auto mode, 4 high, and this thing is just gripping. This road has fewer trees on it, so I feel safer doing this high-speed stuff, but super dangerous. No helmet. Telephone poles. Thick trees. Lots of dust. Cool nonetheless, right? 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. Eat my dust. Eat it. I think this will give it a cool matte look paint job. I think this would have been better with a matte paint. Maybe you could just matte PPF this thing and it would look more serious, even though it is a bright Wave Runner, whatever, called blue. Different rock in the corner here. That's interesting. Is this paved? Yes, it is. Okay. Gonna go back onto some Crocker Road. Not Cracker Road. See, this road's much narrower as well. And brakes are firm on here. It's definitely sorting it out as we brake in the corner. Yeah. Alright, buddy. This thing moves. I don't know where we're going to end up. Hopefully we're not going to end up in someone's driveway like this. It's funny. Wow. We are kicking up rocks, but we do have the skid plates. Let me show you. Wow. You see that? Wow. Wow, that is old. What is that? A house or an old general store? Man, that is old. All right, let me show you the outside of this thing while I'm here. Or stopped at least. Oof. Gotta check for snakes here. Oh yeah. VBS forged wheels, I thought so. Falcon, Wild Peak, AT3W. There we go. Those are those TRD boards. It actually has a roof rack. We didn't even notice that on the highway. Didn't make any noise at all. thumbnail shot right here. Or there. Look at that size of these mirrors. They are they're gargantuan, and I think they extend out even further. Back seat. Captain's chairs, obviously, and then all this. Third row. Let me show you that trunk too. We also have these shades that sort of cover the whole window, maybe 95% of it. Oh, great. We can open the glass separately. Oh, look, we got a camera in there. See, finally, some smart stuff. So the camera for the rearview mirror is in here, and it's actually within the purview of the wiper. So the wiper can make sure that the camera is always clean. And then this is the backup camera for the tow hitch and all that. TRD performance. It's great. Where is my button for that? Are these more cameras? Those are lights. That's the jet for the camera. Where did... There we go. That's strange. The button for the behind the lights is the button for the trunk. This is the people hate things. This is the people hate. This is the thing people hate about the Sequoia, which is the stupid 3-level shelf thing. And I don't know why they did this. I don't think it's necessary to have a shelf in here. It's just something, this is, I think, is the thing that makes all the noise anyway. And if you got one thing in your hand like I do right now, I don't think you're going to be able to like mess with it while you've got stuff. And obviously you're not taking this to Costco unless you got the third row down. So yeah, it does have its benefits and detractors. And there's only one side of exhaust which is different. Never noticed that. Why doesn't it have quad exhaust? There you go. This Toyota Sequoia. What else do you need to know? If I figure out what else I'm going to record here, I'll hit the camera. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, watch it again and again and again. And check that out. $5. Should I buy that property for $5? Wow. Wow. That thing survived a lot of storms. Well, it survived. It's kind of still there. You know, it's not a pile. Let's turn around and see the building that was next to it. I'll just keep the camera rolling. The other thing too is like being outdoors and stuff. If you're gonna be like expedition bro, the fact that this thing isn't like, hey, look at me sounding until you like really put your foot in it, which is unlike other TRD Pros. I remember this thing doesn't just sit here idling go for no reason, right? I think we're gonna have to go down that way. I don't have much of a turning radius here because the road just kind of drops off into the trees. Kind of make our way over to the edge here and turn around. Let's check out that other structure. Is this a gate? Nope. But I can make a U-E over here. Man, those are two bulls, I think. Cows. Cows. Oh yeah, turn around here. Make it easier for yourself. Oh, so lost. Can you help me? I'm looking for the general store. Yeah. There we go. this way. Looks like that was a cabin. That's what I'm talking about, like stuff that didn't last. Wow. A little hammock out there. So cool. I don't feel right recording this. It feels so creepy, but I don't think I'm coming back here in this vehicle, so this is the first time I put this area on YouTube. It's probably the first time this area has ever been on YouTube, to be honest. Alright, we got this cool road, and then we got these two cabins on Crocker near White Mound in an area called Sherman. There's the cabin-like building. It's funny because that's probably a house, right? And then this may very possibly be just a shed, although back in the day that may have been the outhouse. Where is it? You can't even see it. Can't even see it. There's a little shed kind of building there. I think you might have a glimpse of it. Right here. Yep. All right. Whoop. Yep. Kind of lift off there because we started to torque steer to the left, which is odd, but I couldn't quite straighten it out. So, man, that's fun though. If I had a smaller vehicle, I would go faster, but this thing's just huge. You know, having to do like a crazy hard stop in this thing. Oh, it'll do it. I think I literally found the only unpaved road in Texas. Public road. At least it's public, it doesn't say private. Alright, we're gonna make a left. Paved corner, which is great. I don't know, does that turbo sound annoy you? Do you think you're going to get used to it? Do you think you're going to miss it if you go into other cars? It's kind of like, they've almost cranked it up noise-wise to the level of the supercharger in the old Hellcat. You know, the Dodge Charger Hellcat. Dirt road, you can see someone's been down there. No, officer, I wasn't running from you. You just weren't able to keep up. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, have you ever seen a Toyota Sequoia police vehicle? Are they all going to be TRD Pros? Anyone? Anyone? Even in Plano, do they even have one? I don't know. It's very strange. But it's almost like they made this to be one. It's got a lot of room in here. I wish it had more of a grab handle here, and I'm not sure about that texture being wavy in and then kind of like wave down and then come back up. Anyway, there we go. I'll keep up with some more video content on this vehicle as I go throughout my day. So thanks for watching, and ooh, that road, that looks tempting. It's supposed to rain here in a couple days too, so we'll see what happens. Thanks. So sorry, totally forgot. We are in high, 4 high, as you can see right there, and we are also in Terrain Select Auto. So what I want to do is just put it in 2 high. If I can do that on the fly, I wonder if we can. Will it disconnect? Yeah, it did. And then it deactivates. Okay, so you can do that. I didn't have to stop to put it in 4 high. I just happened to be stopped. It's obviously 4 low when you need to stop. Alright, I think we're going to go right here. We're going back to where we came from. Probably wise around here. No, it's great out here. It's beautiful countryside. Surprisingly, it's like pretty close to Oklahoma. It's about 12 miles south maybe as the bird flies, but we got trees, we got pasture stuff going on, we got animals. It's just like, it's not flat and boring like Plano with a bunch of houses like Frisco. It's just green and lush, and we're near the Red River, so we do have tributaries like this one here with tiny guardrails. Don't know how that's gonna help, but there you go. And big trees for shade, obviously. Crazy. This place is crazy. But yeah, own land. Oh, the life of an automotive journalist. What are you looking at? So it's in hybrid mode now, that's why you only hear the fan, but basically the fan, it could also be the electric compressor for the air conditioning, because it's basically like your refrigerator, keeping the air running without the engine running, which is great. That's the best feature of a hybrid, is this hybrid at least. Hey, calm down over there. Crazy. Look, there's houses up there. Thanks for watching. These are the shocks, by the way. I think they're Fox shocks. Never can tell. But definitely a fun vehicle. And it's the only TRD Pro to get these days. You don't need the Tacoma. You don't need the 4Runner. It doesn't have as much space as this. I think the 4Runner is like $78,000 now anyway, so spend the 10 grand more. What is that, 150 bucks difference? No brainer. No brainer. And before I forget, yep, we're here. Okay, here we go. So, I got some hilarious things here. Obviously the window decal, a beanie, bunch of stuff in here. And if you know who you are and you're watching this video, hopefully it gets to you before you see this. So yeah, plus a couple other surprises in there. Why not? You know? So there we go.